glaze your projects, and they can look pretty and wonderful. So here are our glazes. It's basically our paint, and when you're handling the glazes, first of all, when you like decide which colors you want to use, we have a little color guide back here, because I should have already talked to you about how the glaze colors kind of change after they go into the kiln. For example, if you really want a leafy green, this is leaf green color on your project, you'll notice that the leaf green looks pretty much black. But if you come over here, you can look at this color guide and see what it'll actually look like after it's out of the kiln. So basically you look at whatever color you want and try to find it on here, and leaf green is right here. And although it's black when it's basically raw, after it's been cooked up, it turns into a nice leafy green, as the name would give you a clue to. Now most of the colors you will find on the color guide over here. Some of them I haven't been able to fire yet because they're new. Like tangerine it's the first time I've ever had tangerine before. But guess what? Guess what it probably looks like? Yep, the color of a tangerine. So you can probably guess what it'll look like. It'll be fine. So yeah, so we can use our color guides. Now there's a couple things on here like blue oxide or red stain. Have a little star and it says C and B for that color. Those guys are a little bit more expensive, so I like to keep them to myself. If you really want them, you can use them. Just ask me for them. I keep them in a safe place. So basically, yeah. Okay, so we have our glazes and our color guide, and you're gonna grab your projects and paint and everything. And come over here and choose your colors. And say I really want this deep water color. I like the way it looks. It's looking good to me. First thing I gotta do is I gotta actually pick it up, right? Well, we're going to start with just how do you pick up the glaze. You do not pick it up by the cap because, no offense, I don't know what's in the whole teenage gene pool, but there's like a gene missing telling you to screw caps properly back onto glazes, and they don't get screwed on a lot of times. Some people just leave them sitting on top. So we don't want to risk that. We don't want to risk other people's negligence, so we don't want to pick it up by the top just in case somebody didn't screw it back on properly. So we're going to pick it up by its body, and then we're going to pretend like this is salad dressing, and we want to give it a good shake because sometimes the paint and the water in here kind of separates, especially for a few colors. And I can even tell you, okay, so if I have this clear color, well, it's not a color, it's clear, you can actually hear it, like the separation. See how it sounds very watery? But if you give it a good shake, you'll kind of hear it start to kind of homogenize, and it'll become a thick glaze again. Let's see, another one is the emerald. You can have a water. And we'll start to. And it'll be homogenized, it'll be good to go again. So you have to give it a good shake before you use it. And then I have some great bowls for you to use over here. Now there is a whole process to this, so bear with me. You could do one color at a time. Now these glazes are very temperamental when they go in the kiln, and magical things happen, and they change their mind. They mix and mesh, and they bleed together, and it's a crapshoot when you're doing these. So you want to kind of control these as best as you can. So there's no mixing of the colors. You can't be like, oh well, I want to see what emerald and deep red will look like, and I'm going to mix them. You don't do that ever. No. You just use one color at a time, and that's it. So you'll pick a color, let's go back to deep water. Say, hey, I really like this color. I picked it up by the body. I give it a good shake, and I'm going to take one of my bowls. And you cannot take the jars back with you because there could be somebody else who wants the same exact color, and you can't be a little hog. That's not fair. So you take one of your bowls. And choose which brush you want to use, and you pour a little bit out for yourself. And then you try to be clean about this. Look at that nice dripping action. Delicious. It might be really nice and take my brush and actually clean up the side of that. And I'm an adult. I don't have that teenage gene anymore where I forget to screw things on properly. So I'm going to screw the cap on nicely right there and put it back in its nice little spot. Okay, and then say I go, and then I'm like painting my project and I'm done, but then I have plenty more glaze that's still left over. Well, this is a lot of money, and you'll even see some of the price tags on these. Like deep water is $14 just for one jar. So we can't just waste this. And I can't pour it down the sink because it's not good for our sink. And if they find a bunch of toxins in our water, then they'll know it was me, and then they'll shut down my class actually, and that's not cool. So when I'm done with the color that I used, make sure you put it back in the right jar. And you're going to come in here and just scrape as much of the paint back into the jar as you can with your brush. Don't just let it sit there and drip for days. Like, get your brush in there and scrape it out. Okay. Okay, done. And then, again, screw back on. And put it back for somebody else to use. Now, if you spill the paint, you owe me like $1. So try not to spill. It's really not cool. Students have left like pools of glaze and they didn't clean up after it, and it's really mean. So I still have some residual glaze in here, and I really want to let as little of it go into the sink as possible. So what I'm going to do is, after I've scraped it into the jar, I take a wet paper towel and I wipe out the bowl. And look how much more glaze I got out. It's not going into our sinks. Throw that away. And then I'll show you the rest of how to clean this up in just a second.